Yo, what's going on, man? Yo, like I said, man, this is Cee-Rock the Fury, man, and this is Handzup Network Radio. And as promised, I got an exclusive interview, man, from a pioneer, a vet, a legend. Man, I tell you, man, when you talk about hip-hop, man, and you talk about hip-hop history, man, you got to mention this dude here. And if you don't know him, you're going to know today. So wake up and smell the lyrics, smell the dialogue, and I want to introduce to you, man, the legendary KOOL KYLE, the original Star Child. What's up, baby?
Yo, Cee-Rock the Fury, the real Fury. What up, baby boy? What's going on, man?
Man, I'm good, man. We just holding it down on the show, man, with the IPO Radio. I call them the IPOpians and whatnot. So what up? You know, we could give a shout out to everybody on IPO, man. I'm sure they would appreciate that.
Yo, no doubt, man. Shout out to IPO Radio, Handzup Network, yo, Cee-Rock the Fury, his show, The Bomb, Handzup Network, yo, for real.
That's right, man. Yo, let's get into this interview, man, because I got some interrogating questions for you. You know,
okay.
Some of them will put you in a hot seat. Now we already know, man, that you're the man and all that, man, with the master plan and stuff. But for those cats, man, who may not know about you, you know, because there's always a new kid born every day. You know, and let's break this down to those individuals. Can you please explain to them who you are? First of all, let them know where you're from.
The Bookie Down Bronx. Bronx all day, Bronx for life. Bookie Down, Bronx, home of hip-hop, KOOL KYLE, the original Star Child, born and raised in the Bronx.
Born and raised in the Bronx, man. Yo, that's where hip-hop started, man. If y'all don't know, you got to ask him. He's from the home where he created that. And who are some of the people that you came up with, man, back in the days, man? You know?
Well, when I started, you know what? It really wasn't even hip-hop then. It was cats DJing, cats MCing, cats bringing their little equipment out to the park and plugging the system into the light pole, trying to get a crowd from the neighborhood products where we was hanging out, and we would do that. It wasn't even hip-hop, but there was a bunch of cats in different areas that were all doing the same thing simultaneously. Like, I came from the northeast Bronx, so where I was from, it was basically, I was operating through T-Connection, basically, because that's where I used to rock the mic a lot at. I had a spot around the corner called Emma's Place on East 211th Street. I used to rock there. Cool Work eventually took that over. But anyway, in my neighborhood, you had Timmy Hall, KBJ, Johnny G, Cool DJ Rock. They were called the Come Off Crew. They're from my hood. You had me. You had DJ Breakout and Baron, the Funky Four, the Brothers Disco, Funky Four plus one more, starring Cee-Rock. You had Together Brothers. You had Chaos. You had a bunch of crews up around my way. These are the guys I started with, basically, but eventually, and this happened very shortly after I started, I branched out and eventually got with other crews that were rocking at the same time, Grandmaster Flash and the MCs. There was no Furious 5, no 4. It was Grandmaster Flash and the MCs. And first of all, he wasn't even Grandmaster Flash, and he was Flash. He became Grandmaster Flash, and he started out with Melly Mel and then Cowboy. It was 2 MCs. Creole got down, and that was 3 MCs. So it was Grandmaster Flash and really the 3 MCs. I went to Manhattan because my father had a store in Harlem, and I hung out with the Treacherous. I hung out with the Fearless Four a lot. Me and OC and Crazy Eddie were mad cool. I basically moved around a lot, and then I moved to Long Island in 1976. And when I moved to Long Island, I put all the DJing and rapping skills that I had learned in the Bronx since like 74 or 5, and I started DJing and MCing out there, and they had never heard it before, and I was like one of the first guys out there to do that. But in the city, it was like different crews intermingling. Flash, like I said, Theodore. I hung out a lot with Theo, the Fantastic. Anybody who had a name back in those days, Busy B, AJ. These are all my boys. These are all my friends. We all go back at least 30 years. All of it. At least 30 years.
So you said that you was a DJ, correct?
Yes, sir.
What DJ name was you using?
KOOL KYLE, DJ KOOL KYLE. But see, you don't know about that.
All right.
There you go. Because by the time you heard about me, I had already started making records. But see, this goes back way before there were records. This is way before 1978 and Sugar Hill Gang. We going back now to like 75, 6. When I started, basically, to make a long story short, I lived in the Bronx at the time, and I had a girlfriend whose best friend was DJ Hollywood's wife, or significant other, whatever it was. And one day I was in my room writing rhymes. You know, she comes over to chill with me, but I'm writing rhymes. So I'm reading the rhymes to her, and she's like, so what is that? I'm DJing, I'm MCing. So she said, oh, you MC and DJ? I said, yeah. She said, really? She said, have you ever been to 371, which was the club Hollywood used to DJ at back in the day? And if anybody that's listening knows or has a little bit of history under their belt, they know that Club 371 back around 76, 78 was like the mecca of party in the Bronx, really. Disco Fever kind of like took over after a little while. Peak Connection took over on the B-boy hip-hop side. But cats going to clubs with their ladies dressed up a certain way would go to 371, and that was the place to be. And Hollywood was a king in there. He was a king. Absolute king. So when she said that she knew Hollywood, I was like, oh, DJ Hollywood? Because I knew about him. I just never had seen him. I hadn't played anywhere yet. I had never opened my mouth on a microphone in front of 3 people yet. So she gets on my phone, and she calls Hollywood right then and there. He gets on the phone, and he said, yeah, I understand you want to come by the club Saturday. I'm like, yeah, okay. He said, I got you. Just come. You and Yolanda, the girl's name is Yolanda. You'll come. Let them know you're here. I got you. Just like that, he hung the phone up. So we went there that Saturday. I got in, and when I walked downstairs, I couldn't believe what I saw. First of all, you couldn't pick your nose because it wasn't upstairs for you to do that. This is how packed this place was. Second of all, this guy's on the mic, and he's DJing at the same time. And he's cutting the music off, and he's saying things in between the breaks, mixing the break in, and he's just going crazy. And the crowd is just like an adulation. If he told every woman in there, take your panties off, snip them and throw them in the hair, they was taking their panties off. If he told homeboys,
don't get nobody no ideas.
Man, listen, I got many ideas. So what happened was, he saw me, and we went to the booth. Now, this is my first time at 371, and I'm just amazed. I'm listening to what he's doing. I'm watching the crowd reaction, and I said to myself right then and there, this is what I really want to do. Okay, this is way before just plain MCing, because originally most DJs could talk a little bit, but they wouldn't rhyme like MCing eventually became. What it really was in the beginning, like P.T.J. Jones with Lovebug Starsky and Grandmaster Flowers in Brooklyn, cats DJ'd and said certain things. Herc with KOOL KYLE Rock. It was no prolonged, elongated, shell, and you don't stop, you keep warning it. It was none of that. It was just talking to the crowd a little bit, leading up to the next record or during the break, getting the crowd to say something back, and you put the mic down. So anyway, he calls me to the booth, and he stops the music. This is Saturday night, 1 o'clock in the morning. Prime time. Everybody stopped dancing, but because Hollywood is God in there, they didn't boo, they just stopped and looked at the booth like soldiers. He said, yeah, I got a new guy that wants to get on the mic there. What's your name? Oh, yeah, his name's KOOL KYLE. Let him know how y'all feel, y'all. So the crowd said, oh, they started making a little bit of noise. He let Junebug get on. God bless his dad. Junebug was his DJ in 371 when Hollywood didn't feel like DJing. He said, Junebug, put some on for him. He just handed me the mic, just like that. He handed me the mic. So Junebug put on, I really can't remember, but he put something on that I was familiar with. Because I kept records. I had crates of records on, but I wanted to be a DJ. So I had everything you heard, I had. So he put it on, the break came on, and I just went in. And I stayed in. He put the next joint on. I stayed in. He put the next joint, about three joints on. And I had him going. And this is in Hollywood's house. And this is like the first time. So after I did that, I gave him back the mic. He said, yo, you good. You're going to be all right. I'm like, cool. And that's when I started. And from that point on, I decided to DJ and talk on the mic like Hollywood. So I was DJ KOOL KYLE for about a year until it dawned on me, why even bother DJing when I can get with the hottest DJ that I know? Let him do the work as far as presenting records. I know everything about the crossfader, the mixer, the turntables, pitch. I know all of that. So when I want to rap off of something, he can put it on. He can move back. I can put my hands on the channels, bring them up, bring them down, turn the music off when I want to, because I know how to do all that because I also DJ'd. And then I started concentrating on the MCing.
That's what's up. Hey, I got a question for you, man. Now, when you was rocking them, right? When they first passed you the staff and whatnot, and when you went in, do you by any chance right now remember a little bit of what you said right there, man? I mean, like I'm here now. I'm where you at right now. Way back then. And I'm in the crowd, and KOOL KYLE was on there. Do you know like a line or a hook or something like that you said, man? Is there anything, from back then that you know?
I can tell you one thing. He put on Love is the Message. That was one of the records. And Hollywood had this special thing he did off of Love is the Message. So he puts it on, and the horns come in, dan, 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 to dance. So it's leading up to it. So I'm just introducing myself. Yo, my name is Kool Kyle, original Star Child. Yo, somebody make some noise. And they scream. So as soon as the break came on, I was, my name is Kool Kyle. I came in tonight to make you shake your ass. And I'm going to get down with the fucking sound. So come on now, clap your hands. And I was doing the Hollywood voice type thing. I really wasn't B-boy or disco. I was in between, like Hollywood was. And I had that baritone voice as I'm talking like right now. Right. So my name is Kool Kyle. You need to get down to the funky sound. Somebody and everybody come on and let's party. So it was just freestyle, doing shit like that. And it worked. And they loved it. To tell you an exact rhyme, I really can't. But I know I let off with Love Is the Message was that Kool Kyle thing. And my name is Kool Kyle, and a one of a kind. I'm going to stick my in your behind. Let's rock. The crowd said, and roll. Let's roll. The crowd said, and rock. Hey, I go hip, hop, the hip hop, the hippie, dippy, hip, hip, hop, you don't stop. They loved it.
They loved it. Man, Busy B probably got that from you.
He didn't get it from me, but see, that's one thing people don't want to really talk about. But see, at that time, so listen, people were intermingling. I was 17 or 18 years old, but I really wanted to be with older people. I didn't want to go to the party with the Lee jeans and the Adidas or the Pumas. I really wanted to dress up and be around ladies, women, because, I'm a Scorpio, Kool Kyle. I'm chasing women. Man, that was always the one of the goals in my mind as far as this DJ and MC thing goes, because women loved it. So I'm going to the Hotel Diplomat. I'm going downtown, Nell Gwynn. I'm going to older clubs. And they didn't play the B-boy stuff. They didn't play Apache, I Can't Stop, Scratching. They did none of that. So you had two different sections of what eventually became hip-hop music. You had the side that was called B-boys, and you had the side that was really disco, but it was disco R&B. And every now and then they would throw something funky in, because they had to play the funky record. But they weren't trying to have cats in their sneakers and their hair braided. They really didn't. The first day that Flash and I walked into Disco Fever, this is a fact, I don't care what anybody says, Flash and I went to Disco Fever one night. We walked through the door. We get in, so we go upstairs. I'm greeted by Sal and Sweet G. I forgot which one said it to me, but one of them told me, quote unquote, Flash, you will never play here because you're a B-boy. And Kool Kyle, you will never rock the mic here because you're a B-boy rapper. Now, anybody who knows me, that's exactly what they told us. Now, anybody who knows me knows I was never, yes, y'all, and you don't stop. You keep on and you knock that body, rock with the K-double-O, rockin' with the L on the top. Listen, I could do that shit all day long, but that really wasn't my thing. My thing was the adult, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the party right now. Somebody make some noise. Every ladies in the house say, Kyle. This is what I did. So for them to even tell me that, they didn't know me. A year later, Flash's name was on the wall. My name was on the wall because we came back. Flash and them came out with Freedom. I started hanging out in the Fever, and we became architects of what eventually became the Fever heritage. And everybody whose name was on that wall had something to do with the Fever being what it was, or a legacy in hip-hop at that time. And if you know the Fever and you've seen that wall, you would see the classic names. But when we walked in there, we weren't going to play there. We couldn't get on. And we didn't come there to play, mind you. We were just hanging out. So me and Flash looked at each other. We're like, okay, so what? But at that time, they were in the studio getting ready to do Freedom, and then they made Freedom, and Freedom blew up. And when Freedom blew up, it was a whole different story now. Oh, Flash, welcome in. But I remember when we walked in there, we were called B-Boys because it was two separate factions. You didn't want the B-Boys intermingling with the adult crowd. But hip-hop made it so that the adult crowd got kind of younger, the younger crowd got kind of older, and I became one of the first DJ/MCs and eventually MCs that combined the styles of MCing to a crowd. See, B-Boys concentrated on rhyming, talking. They paid some attention to the crowd, but they really were into letting you know they could spit. Early on, this was like 78, 77, 78, 79. Busy B was one of the first ones to talk to a crowd. Cowboy was one of the first ones to talk to a crowd. And I was definitely one of the first ones to talk to a crowd. As an MC, not as a DJ MC, because Starsky did it as a DJ MC. Hollywood did it. But as an MC, because when I was down with Flash them, they had a little problem with me because I was too disco. They said, yo, Kool Kyle, you cool, but you too disco. Meaning I had that deep baritone, and I was rocking with that. Now, if you listen to old tapes of me and Melly Mel, I have a CD right now from 1978, my birthday, a T-Connection, and Mel starts it off. Flash is cutting. Mel starts it off. He passes the mic to Cowboy. Cowboy passes it to me, and I couldn't tell the difference between me and Mel because he had a little power to his voice. But he didn't concentrate on that. You know, he didn't concentrate on that. He didn't stretch the vowels out the end of the word like Hollywood. He would say Hollywood. You would hear that tower, but it wouldn't be like Hollywood. You understand what I'm saying? And eventually I grew out of that style because young kids weren't really with that. They were more so into the one for the money and two foolish you. Come on, show me what you know. That type of shit. And eventually I got into that too, but I always concentrated on the crowd, and that's what I was known for, and that's what I do to this very day.
Man, that's deep, man. Yo, man, you said that you was dressed up back then because, you know, you was trying to impress the ladies and stuff. It was all about looking good and all the sophisticated GQ, so to speak. Do you know what you was wearing that night when you first grabbed that mic? I mean, like, did you have the Kaiser bun hat, any gazelles on? What was you rocking?
No, I had a big afro, so I really didn't like wearing hats sometimes unless my hair was braided because I had, like, long braids. But to go there, I took the braids out. So I got this big Jackson 5 Silver's afro, if you can imagine what I'm saying. So no hat. I had a leather quarter field, which very few people had, which was like top notch. I had a dark blue, navy blue with blue fur quarter field. I had a dark blue and white mock net. I had dark blue AJs on, and I had Hustlers on. No, Playboys. I had Playboys on. That's what I had on that night. Playboys, yes, sir. Black suede Playboys with the little British flag up under the heel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fashion for you, man. Back then, that's how you had to rock, man. Everybody had the afros and whatnot, man. And, you know, and you was light-skinned, too. You know, back then, you know, we had issues with light-skinned people. I wasn't really around that time. I've seen that there was a whole bunch of drama against the light-skins and whatnot. and you, I think you might have been responsible for starting that revolution, man, you know?
Well, you know what? I look at it this way. I heard something about that, and I'm not going to say I was one of the forefront in the light-skin lineup, but I was in there, and then someone from the darker shade came out with black is back, and light skin is over, or something like that, and we figured out. Denzel and them took over. Wesley Snipes took over.
Oh, man. Man, them light-skinned boys, boy, I don't know.
See, that's the problem with our race right now, my brother. That's the problem with our race right now. See?
Light-skinned people, man, messing up America, man. Hate them light-skinned people, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we should go for that nonsense.
What was the equipment that you was using? Like, I know, you know, back then, man, they didn't have, like, the Technic 1200 and stuff back then. You know, back then,
actually,
you know, like, innovators was inventing stuff. What was you using? What was your equipment?
By the time I actually got turntables, they were 1200s. Any direct drive turntable you want to use, because direct drive is direct drive. A belt-driven turntable drags when you try to backspin it. It's very hard to DJ on it. You can do it, because that's what I first had when I first started paying attention to music like that. But when I got some money and with help from my parents, I got the 1200. The first mixer was a Gemini, which is a basic 2-channel, left to right, 4 audio controls for each side, up, down, and you mix, and that's it. And a microphone jack. The microphone was, oh my God, what's the name of the microphone? There's a picture I put on Facebook every now and then from Throwback Thursday with me and T-Connection with Sinbad. I got the mic in my hand. It's that exact mic. That's the mic that I started messing with. It was very popular back. It came in a white case. All MCs know this mic. Shout out to DJ Flame, because I used to leave my mic home and go borrow her mic. She was like a teenager then. But I used to rock T-Connection in the spot around the corner because she lived in Gun Hill Projects, DJ Flame. And her mother bought her that mic, and I started to ask her mother, can I borrow your daughter's mic? They said you bring them back by 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not playing. I'll come down there and get you. And she was dead serious. So it's that same mic. I can't tell you the name of it, though, but that was basically about it.
Mm. Oh, and you still got that mic somewhere? You got it in it. You might get a lot on eBay for that, man.
Oh, man, I wish I did, man. Now, I'm a fan of about 10 of those mics throughout my whole early career in the 70s, the 80s. I would burn them out. I would literally burn them out and buy another one and get another one and keep another one. I never thought to keep one to this day. They still make it. It's probably a much better HQ microphone, but it was quality back then. Don't get anything wrong with it. It wasn't cheap. You had to have a little bit of money to get that mic, but it was like the standard mic because everybody had it. It was popular and it was sturdy. Because you always plug it in and unplug it, grabbing that cord and pulling it out, going somewhere else, dropping it, boom, boom, boom. You know, and it stood the test of time. I wish I could remember the name right now. And watch we get off the phone, I will remember. And I'll probably text you privately and tell you. But right now I can't remember. That was the standard equipment. It was nothing elaborate, man. 2 turntables, a mixer. Like I said, Gemini mixer. Speakers were started in Vegas. Me and my man saved our money and bought a Crown amp, and we had a mid-range, and that was it. We built the other speakers because back in those days, if you weren't affiliated with a club, you had your own system. You would set up somewhere and play out in the street, in the parks. And that's what we did for a couple of years until I started getting around, and promoters would call me and ask me, yo, come by on Friday night. I got a little $100 for you. Would you mind getting on between 11 and 1 or whatever it was? And so I didn't have to concentrate on the equipment anymore, so I kind of left that area of it. But in the very beginning, that was a main priority, getting equipment and making sure it lasted and it was durable. You know what I mean? Because everybody had a system.
Yeah. You ever had a situation, man, when you was at a party, right, like a block party, and you was talking about plugging everything up in there. You know, nobody there knew about wattages and all that stuff. Have you ever had a situation when y'all was plugging out something and y'all blew out the lights or anything like that?
Well, what we did one time was we played, me and my man, my other man, went downtown to where Flash was at. Flash was playing in, what's that schoolyard? I can't remember the name of the schoolyard. Around Webster, 160-something. He used to play there a lot in that park. And we came in that Sunday after they had already shut. They were like down the hill, but they were playing. And you could see people, you could hear the music. We set up a little bit closer to the main street. My man's mother lived in the building directly across the street. So instead of going to the light pole, we plugged into her house. Now, you have to imagine this. This is a utility cord crossing a street, going up to the second floor window. It's hanging out the window, plugged into our house stuff. And everything was fine until about maybe 4 hours later, and we plugged another mic in. And when we plugged that mic in, everything went shoot. Her whole floor, on her building, her whole floor, you could see the lights go out. They just went out. And we were like, oh, part of our language, oh, what? She stuck her head out the window. God damn it. I told you. And she had a hemorrhage. She ran downstairs. We blew all the lights out on that floor. And that was directly because of the system. The system, you know, those utility cords weren't designed to be plugged into a standard, a standard watt for your house. I mean, really. And we blew it out. Plenty of times we plugged in, and street lights didn't go out, but other things like around us, like we would blow speakers all the time, or blow somebody else's speakers out. I mean, just because of the power we were trying to utilize and the source of the power. And nobody was an electrical engineer in those days. You know, we're playing it by hook. All we know is that we need electricity. We don't care where it comes from. We don't care what it's doing. As long as it turns them turntables and makes that mic work. And that's all we gave a damn about. And it had speakers.
That's what's up. Yo, how many extension cords did you use, man, for that?
Oh, my God, man. I can't even tell you, man, because extension cords were like your lifeline. Plenty of cats got hung up because they didn't have that extra cord, and nobody would lend them one, or they couldn't get one, or the hardware store was closed Saturday night. I mean, really, you had to have an abundance of cords. Because I've seen cats like have heart attacks. Yo, we need one more cord. One more. Ain't nobody had nothing. What? You're the DJ. Pardon my language again. You're the DJ. You bring all that. And if you didn't have enough of those, sure enough, it's like leaving a microphone home. I mean, come on. You need to have power. And if you don't have power, you're dead. So I've seen plenty of cats get hung up over cords, but we had like at least 10 or 12 of them. I mean, we had a lot of them. And then we had a high-grade utility cord, like I told you about. My man's father used to work at Con Edison, and he had mad quality 3-prong cables that, you know, were really used for, like, utility stuff. And we had a lot of those. So we were basically prepared a lot back when I was a mobile DJ out in the street.
Yeah, the parents ain't want to give up those cords anyway, man, because they used to use those to whip the kids with. You know? Real,
plus,
man.
they were expensive. They were expensive too.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Parents was ninjas with them cords, man. I was a victim of the cord.
You ain't the only one. They were the standard button implement. You feel me?
Oh man! So anytime I watch Roots, you know, I think about that. And I'd be like, oh no, man. My name is Toby.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy. Yo, word on the streets, man, is that, man, you was quite the graffiti artist. Tell us what name you were under, man, and, you know, tell us a little bit about your episodes as a graffiti artist.
Well, this goes back to when I was in high school. I went to high school music and art in Manhattan, now to Lincoln Center, but back in the day when I went there, it was on 135th and Convent. A couple of my classmates were graffiti writers and basically singers and musicians. I went to school with Curtis Blow, Marcus Miller, #1 studio bass player in America. Omar Hakim, #1 studio drummer, who just finished touring with Sting. Who else? The guy Tom Brown, fucking for Jamaica. A lot of musicians and stuff, but that's just the music side. Because I went there for art. I was a drummer. I was playing the drums since I was 4 years old. By the time I got to 9th grade, I was ready to take the drum test. I could play drums. But I was an artist too. I took the art test. I got in on the art test. As I got in on the art test, that's about 73, 72. Graffiti had just started really breaking out on the trains. There were no masterpieces. It was just, you call them tags now, but we used to call those hits. Single names, your name with a number, and the crew you were down with, if you even had a crew. The trains were basically still clean then, and it started out in the streets. You saw one name on the side of the wall, then you saw another. By the time the summer of 72 came, it was an explosion, and then it moved on to the trains around 72. A little bit in 71, but mainly 72. And when 72 came, I started writing. My writing name was Spec 1 because I used to wear really thick glasses back then. Spectacles. So I was Spec 1, and I had another name, Bad 700, because I thought I was bad. So those are my two names. I was even Kool Kyle yet. I was basically Spec 1. But going to that high school introduced me to a lot of different artists from around the city because that school had everybody from the 5 boroughs going there. And a lot of the young cats that turned 14, 15 were writing on trains. And a lot of guys that became legends I hung out with because they went there. And we would go to other people's neighborhoods. We'd cut school and go write. We'd cut school and go to hooky parties at other people's schools. And the writers mingled. So I was a big graffiti head for like 3 or 4 years, like hardcore, going to the yard, going to the layups in the middle of the night at your train station and jumping on the tracks and climbing up on the third rail on top of that wooden thing that covered the third rail and just put your name up there, just to have your name because you knew somebody in Brooklyn was going to see your name. And the first time I ever saw my name away from my home station, I was actually in Brooklyn going to a party, and the number 2 train, which was my line, went by, and I looked, and I recognized the car because you always remember what you do. And it was the first thing I had ever done, me and my man, together, which we got busted for later on that day. That's another story. But it was still running. And we were going to this party, got off the train, the uptown train was going by, and we would always stop to look at the train to see if you recognized anything. And my first little thing was there. I said, "Oh wow, look at that!" I felt like a kid. You know what I'm saying? Because the part of graffiti that mattered the most was expression and understanding there are cats who don't have anything, but you're gonna know who we are. And how you gonna know who we are? We're gonna write our name somewhere, and if you pay attention, you'll see it. And then you can read what it says. You'll know my name. And then it became basically for graffiti writers, not the public. There's one graffiti writer writing to another, showing them, yeah, Spec is here, and then Spin was there. So now you recognize each other's names. But that was like one of the fundamental elements of graffiti, just the street art, because we had nothing. And we needed to express ourselves. I mean, psychologically, nobody knew that back then. You weren't walking around talking about, I want the world to know who I am. That's not why you did it. You did it because a lot of your friends were doing it, and it was a really instant attachment to fame, which means that you really wanted to be recognized. Me being an artist to start with, that was like the perfect thing for me because I was always drawing and painting anyway. And when I went to music and art, it just exploded. And I was a big graffiti writer for quite a while.
That is what's up, man. You know, I tried it, man. I'm not so good at it, man. My thing always come out. I always get paint on my fingers, man. Because I always hold the thing down too thick. Got my got my thumb in the wrong place or not. I'm just spraying things or not. I can make a good tic-tac-toe board though. That's about it. You know.
I hear you.
Me and my boy, we played tic-tac-toe one time. One day they were like, "Yo, what are you doing, man? We messed up the walls for." They were in that. Well, did you ever put your graffiti art anywhere that's like so hidden that it still might be around where somebody could find it from back in the days? Do you have like a secret hidden place? Like if somebody was, or is that a secret?
Well, I'm gonna tell you. Back when I was doing it, the picture taking thing and all that was kind of like very novice. Very few people did that. But the ones who did it had the foresight to recognize to keep a record of this stuff. I never did that. I have a friend who has a couple of pictures of stuff with me standing right next to the train in the yard, and I don't have access to them, and I've never seen them, but I know he has them. But there's one thing that exists that I did still. There's a book called Kings of Graffiti by Jack Stewart. And to make a long story short, Jack Stewart was a guy who documented early graffiti from 1971 until the day he died. And when he died, his daughter took over and finished the book. This was a middle-aged white man who used to stand around train stations, and you would always see him, and he would be talking to writers, and he would go to places. And, first we thought he was a cop, but I never dealt with him directly. But to make a long story short again, I went to a book signing of that book when it came out a couple of years ago. And I'm signing autographs and stuff, but just because I'm Cool Kyle, and the Japanese kids are coming to me, are you in this book? I said, no, but I am seeing. I told them, oh, Cool Kyle the Starchiled. Oh, yes, you like that from TV, 1980. They knew my whole history. So I'm there signing autographs. Get home and look at the book. There's a piece that I did on the Pennsylvania Avenue station wall in 1974, and it's in that book on the last page, right before the glossary, as an example of how graffiti was all over the place, not just on the trains, but on the station walls. This was a main station on the number 2 line, Pennsylvania Avenue. And I went there in broad daylight, me and my man, and we did what we wanted to do because we were from the Bronx. And they knew Spec wasn't from Brooklyn. So to see a Brooklyn cab would go, wow, Spec came over here, right? Wow. And I did that, and I was surprised. It's in that book. It's called Kings of Graffiti by Jack Stewart. And it's an excellent documentation of early graffiti to like mid to late 70s, which is the cream of the beginning. And if anybody who cares about graffiti and how it really started in New York City should get that book. And I have one piece in there.
That must have bugged you out to see that in the book. That must have bugged you out.
I couldn't believe it because I went to this book signing. I was there all night. And everybody who was in that book who's still alive was basically at that book signing. You had these big cats signing autographs, all these kids hanging around them. And I kind of wished I had something in there because I was writing when the guy did the book. I didn't even know I was in the book until I took it home and actually looked at page by page. And I'm on the last page, right before the glossary, the last example of graffiti, and there's a speck right there, orange and yellow speck. And I was like, wow. I hadn't seen that since I did it. I did that in the early winter of 74. I haven't seen that since 2014. That was then. You feel me? I hadn't seen it all those years. And I actually forgot I did it, but I saw it. I was like, wow, that's in here. So that's one thing people can look for if they really like doing that. I also have a thing I did on, there's a site called NewYorkCitySubways.org. That's the premier subway site, not just about graffiti. It's about trains, equipment, stations, history. And they have a thing where you can see your line and click onto a particular station. They'll tell you about the station, the dimensions, the size, and they have a picture of the stations. And one of the stations, which is East 225th Street, on the number 2 line, 7th Avenue, Lenox Avenue, there's a bad 700 that I did, top to bottom, on one of the cars. You can see it. It's right there. It's like he took a picture of the piece, really, to show you what was going on back in those days. The car happened to be there when the guy took the picture for the book. For the website. It's called NewYorkCitySubway.org. You go to East 225th Street, Lenox Avenue, 7th Avenue line, and you'll see a purple and yellow bad 700, which is my other name. And that was a top to bottom, from the roof of the car down to right above the wheels. Nice. So those two things exist. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Now I want to talk about Kool Kyle the artist, man. When you first came out, when you first came out with your record, man. We don't know now. You've been on Profile. You've been on labels like Frills and Enjoy Records and whatnot, man. When you first got your music out, that's what I want to hear about. I want to hear about what happened, man, when you first heard your song on the radio. First of all, how did you get your first record deal? And then tell us about how you reacted when you first heard your thing on the radio.
Well, what happened was a year before that record even came out, which was in 1980. This is right before Sugar Hill Gang released their first record. Someone approached me about recording my voice to the music I was rapping off of and trying to sell it. And I nixed the idea, thinking that it wouldn't be possible because why would a cat buy a record of me when they can just come see me play, which is the total opposite of the mentality now. You make a record to perform it. People come see you perform the record they hear. But back then it was brand new. Nobody ever did it. And a guy came to me, he had some money. I was like, I'll let you know. So I kept procrastinating with him. Sugar Hill Gang came out. When Sugar Hill Gang came out, every MC that had a voice that was doing something of value, that people knew, that did parties out in the street, whose name was on more than one flyer, was rushing to try to get into a studio. I was no exception to the rule. I went ahead and borrowed some money from my man and another dude. They put the money up. I got the musicians, because my first record is live. It's a live band playing. And I got everybody together, thought of the music, the track I should use, me and the drummer, Ronnie Sarah, God bless the dead, a white boy from Co-op City. So me and him beside, let's do BT Express. I like it. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. That's the bass line for my first record. So we imitated that. So we go to the studio, and we record it. My record was 16 minutes or 14 minutes. It's one of the longest records on Enjoy. Because back in those days, it wasn't 16. Yes, sir. There was no 16 bars and then break or chorus or hook. It was how many bars you wanted in the hook if it even was a hook.
Right. That's right.
So that record is 14 minutes and 34 seconds, and that's the short version. The long version is 16 minutes, I believe. But anyway, so I got this demo now. So I get a plate made. Back in those days, you can go to a pressing place that made plates, which is an acetate of this high-grade plastic that sounds like tin when you hear it against a hard surface, but it wasn't plastic like a record is made out of. And you would do that. It would last a little while, a couple months, if you played it a whole lot, but at least you had your shit on the disc. So I had one of those. So one day I went Flash. I'm a Grandmaster Flash. We just did a party somewhere. Him and Melly Mel at the time were at odds with each other over certain internal group issues. And I think they weren't speaking to each other, but whatever it was, this was right before Freedom came out. So me and Flash are hanging out, and we talking about records. So they had already came out with Super Rapid on Enjoy. I knew who Bobby Robinson. He was a legend in the music business. Was a millionaire 10 times over, 10 different eras of music. Introduced Last Night in the Pimps to America, Kansas City by Wilbur Harrison. The first one that booked the Jackson into the Power. I mean, he had crazy history. And he was making rap records. He made the first one with Funky 4. Then he made the second one, which was Super Rapid by Flash and Furious. And they did well with it. They were doing shows, and it wasn't on the radio yet because they weren't playing rap records on the radio. But everybody in the street knew Super Rapid. That's the record where Melly Mel first does his Child Was Born rhyming. It's on that record, too. Anyway, I said, Flash, what about me getting on Enjoy? He said, you want to be on Enjoy? I said, yeah, you want Enjoy? It's working for you? Funky's on Enjoy? We got in my car. We went to 125th Street. I had the demo with me. I couldn't park anywhere because 125th Street was crazy crowded that night. It was a Friday night. And he said, let me take the demo and just give it to Bobby and see what he says. I said, okay, I'll park the car. I'll meet you inside. I never got inside because I couldn't park anywhere. I had to double park. By the time I finally stopped driving the car around 125th and Lennox and 7th and all that, he came back with papers in his hand. He said, yo, Bobby wants the record. Here's your contract. Fill it out and call him. Just like that. So in the course of 2 hours or an hour and a half, however it took, Flash had got me signed to Enjoy. And that's how I got my record deal. Flash got me on Enjoy record.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's history. So once the record came out, now, you wait for your record to come out because it's a big deal. Even though, New York City radio wasn't messing with rap music at that time. It was, in the beginning, Sugar Hill's record didn't even crack the radio. It was really a big street and club record. It eventually moved to the radio because of extreme popular demand. But it was not on the radio in the beginning. You didn't hear rap records. When the Message got on the radio, that was a big deal because Frankie Crocker, who used to be the program director at BLS, told me personally, God bless her dead soul, because he can't dispute this, pal, we're not playing no rap music. We don't deal with rap music. We don't really like it, and we don't think it's going to last. That's what Frankie Crocker told me. WBLS's program director. And anybody who knows music in New York knows, and at a certain age, how big Frankie Crocker was. Frankie Crocker was some man. Come on, Hollywood. And he told me no. So basically, you just wanted the record to be played in clubs, out in the street. But the first time I heard it, a guy had it in his car. And I was standing on 145th Street and Edgecombe Avenue in front of my father's store. And everybody who knows me back then knows that was my meeting place for hip-hop. Dougie Fresh used to come by and see me when he was a kid. Flash came by there. Curtis used to come by there. Orange Juice Jones. I can go on and on. Everybody knew Kyle was in that store because I used to run my father's store in the nighttime after work and after school. So that's where I was. And you would meet me there. So I'm sitting outside one night, just finished talking to Donald D., the original Donald D., God bless him dead. And he pulls off. And here comes a car. It stops right at the bus stop. And the windows are down. It was springtime. And I hear, beep, beep. Do you like that funky beat? Everybody. That's me. I'm like, okay, where's the lyrics? Welcome to the party, everybody. So glad that you could attend. I was like, oh, so I ran up to him. And said, oh, man, where did you get that from? He said, yo, my man got it. He bought it from Bobby's record shop. And he pulled off. But Bobby used to play all his records that he produced on the street in front of his record shop on 125th Street. And I was guaranteed
probably.
Exactly. And I was guaranteed to be heard in Harlem at least because it was the sixth record on Enjoy, period. The first solo artist on Enjoy. My 12-inch had the only picture cover until they started doing Enjoy albums, and that was back in 1980s. I was the only one that had my face on the 12-inch. So he spent money to do all that. So he played my song, and you look up on St. Street, you got the 80,000, I mean, you got the St. Nicholas, then you heard it coming from Bobby's record shop, and it was a thrill to hear myself. You know what I mean? Because I never heard myself played by somebody else. The first time I actually heard my own record on the radio was a couple of years later, and it really wasn't even my record. It was the intro to my record, which I made a commercial for Frankie Crocker and WBLS and Mr. Magic. The music was Over Like a Fat Rat. Leroy Burgess produced that original record, and he produced a version for me to rap on. It was called Getting Over. And I made a commercial for Frankie for the first, 60 seconds of the record, figuring he would continue on with the record if he played the commercial. And sure enough, when it came out in the summer of 84 or 3, whatever that was, he would open his show with my record. Now, that was a thrill because it was summertime, and everybody had BLS turned on. I remember I was in my girlfriend's house again. I had the window open, and we had the radio. Everybody had the radio. I wasn't expecting it to get played, and he came on with it. And I knew it was my record. I was like, oh, my God. That was a thrill. He would cut it off right as I got into the lyrics because that's, business-wise, we hadn't dealt with the label. The label hadn't dealt with BLS. They would do me a favor by playing it as a commercial because I was advertising Frankie Crocker's show and Mr. Magic's show. That's when Mr. Magic first got on WBLS. Magic was a very good friend of mine. God bless his dead again. And he slipped it to Frankie, and Frankie played it, and he played it every day at 4 o'clock for about 3 weeks until he said, Kyle, and I met him, and he told me. He said, listen, when I deal with your record label, you'll hear the record. They need to call me. And what he was saying was basically, hit me off. But the label wasn't doing that then. So, but that was a thrill, too, because that was a big deal. To hear your voice on the radio that you know everybody's listening to, and you heard the echo of it, because a lot of people had the radios on, it was like one of the biggest thrills I ever had.
You must have been out the window like, yo, that's me, yo.
I was like, yo,
that's me.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't playing. It was really me.
Exactly. Like a lunatic. And I knew every day at 4 o'clock he would play it because he did it like 3 days in a row. I'm like, wow. So I just know the record was going to get played because that record had a lot of political power behind it. The label I was on, and we had meetings with Vaughn Harper, who really liked it, and a couple other special people in the music business, and they were going to start moving it. It's just the label didn't have the means to make the record bigger, nor promote it like they should have, and that got found out, and then he dropped messing with it because the label was not living up to their obligations. They wanted me to make an album, have a follow-up single like right behind it, and they weren't ready to do that yet. It was that's the record that was on Frill's record that you mentioned. That was Frankie Double Dutch Bus Smith's label. The guy from Philadelphia, right? Double Dutch Bus. Yeah, Kid Nova was on Frill's, and that was his label. He signed me. And that's before I went to Profile, yeah.
Do you still have that promo for Frankie Crocker? You still got that, like on cassette somewhere, hiding in your drawer?
You know what? I believe I have it in my mom's house, and I really would have to go through all my cassettes because it's on cassette.
It's okay.
I still think I have it.
I want to hear it.
But I'd love to find that. Yeah, I would.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Start now. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Well, when I go to my mom's house, I guess after we finish talking.
Give me mom's number. Call him up. I'm calling up. Yo, come on, man. We want that. You know you got it, mom. Yo, I want to hear about the Profile situation, man. How did that come about?
Okay. When I had made Getting Over off of Finally Raised Over Like a Fat Rat, like I told you, Leroy Burgess, the lead singer with the high voice from Black Ivory, and Fantastic Aliens. He must have been in about 5 or 6 different groups back then. He had records all over the 80s. But he's mainly from Black Ivory. He had produced her record and mine. He lived in the same building as Greg Marius. You know Greg Marius. Disco 4 Greg Marius. NBA, basketball, entertainment, Greg Marius. Well, Greg used to be in the Disco 4. And Greg came to me one day and said, Leroy wants to make a rap record off of that Fonda Ray joint. They had just made the record. And back in those days, you wanted to jump on a popular song very early to beat anybody else to it and to capitalize on the success of the original record. So as soon as Leroy had finished it, he told Greg, because Greg was a rapper with the Disco 4, who are also in Enjoy, but they had just went to Profile. So he told me. So I made the demo again on my own, let Greg hear it, and we took it to Profile. They wanted it, and they wanted to buy it from me, but they weren't talking enough money in my book. So I turned them down. So at that time, Greg introduced me to Frills, which was Frankie Double Dutch Bus Smith. Had a long talk, meetings in the hotel and the whole nine. They signed me and Leroy, took me and Leroy to Philadelphia to do it over, and we recorded it in Philadelphia. So I had turned profile down. 2 years later, Curtis Blow, myself, and my partner on the profile records, Billy Bill, William Waring, was a writer primarily, but that was Curtis's boy from childhood. I knew him since we were teens when Curtis and I were in high school together. And Billy had wrote a bunch of hits for Curtis, lyric-wise. So Billy was good with the writing. Kurt asked us that we want to make a record. Now, I already rapped. I had been on 2 labels already. He's like, Kyle, I can get you on profile. I'll get a production deal for you and Billy. I'll be a producer. So he went to profile. Curtis Blow was really hot back then. This is mid-'80s. He's really hot. They couldn't wait to sign Curtis for a production deal. So profile signed Curtis to a production deal. The first artist he had was KOOL KYLE and Billy Bill. And I went back to profile talks, and this time the money was right. They put us in Quadratronic Studios, which is one of the biggest studios in New York. The same studio where Tupac got shot at, mind you. But anyway, Quad Studios. And we had the best of everything on that record. And we did 2 singles, Trouble and The Old School. And they came on the profile right as Run DMC were becoming national icons. Rockbox had just, King of Rock, one of them had just came out. And all they were doing was promoting Run. Not to say they weren't promoting us either on the other artists on the label, but running them really had stood out. And a lot of their fortunes went to making sure running them stayed and became what they literally became. And at the time, they weren't like that yet. They was just 2 guys. Russell Simmons, who was Run's older brother, was managing them. And Russell had success with Curtis Blow because he was Curtis's first manager. He got Kurt on Mercury. And now he was concentrating on running DMC. And we signed just as they were coming out. And we did all right with it. I mean, I've done shows from it. I did a lot of shows from it. But I really believe we came out at a different time. It would have worked out more for us.
Right.
And my ideas were a little bit more advanced than what Profile was talking about. I was really into the street thing and talking about the dangers of the street. You know, I really wanted to address drugs and how we treat each other. And at that time, all they were interested in was party music. It started to change with the message, but the message wasn't enough to make it totally change. Party music was still popular, but I had a political agenda under my belt. You know, I want to uplift people who are listening to me talk. I'm not trying to be a teacher. I'm not trying to be a philosopher, and I'm not trying to be no spiritualist. But I am going to say how I feel about cats robbing each other, cats smoking crack on the corner, cats selling crack on the next corner. I mean, because it wasn't about survival, man. It was about what was happening to us in the streets. Almost like what's happening now, but not to that extent, and not affecting us directly like that. But you knew bad stuff when you saw it, and I wanted to tell kids, yo, listen, man, watch out for that. Y'all need to watch out. We made a record, Billy and I, a demo for Profile called Leave It Alone. This was in the summer of 80, I think 4 now or 3. Crack was first starting to hit New York. Just started. It wasn't even an epidemic yet. But we knew. We seen our peers who were hanging out one night partying at Disco Fever. The next thing you know, they're in the hotel smoking crack. And the next thing you know, they're out in the street. And, you know, this was real for us. We saw this. We saw how it was affecting women, young women, cats. I mean, the drug trade in New York when crack finally exposed New York was horrendous. It was a life changer, which is affecting people to this very day. And we wanted to make a record about that called Leave It Alone. And Profile told me and Billy it was too serious. We can't make an anti-drug record. James Brown did King Heron, that never sold. This man's comparing a James Brown record that we had nothing to do. We don't know how he even marketed the record to crack epidemic. And a year later he told us, I should have made that record with you. Because we knew what was going to happen. So because they turned that down, I was kind of like funky with them a little bit. And I knew I was getting another offer because I'm KOOL KYLE, number 1. And number 2, I'm gonna do something else. And eventually I did, but we stayed on there for like a year, 2 years till the concert wore out. We got money from them, but they didn't really support us. I feel like we needed to be supported, but it was all good. It was a great experience. Profile Records. Then they signed to DJ Quick, and they got Rob Bass came out with his monster record. So I mean, Profile did well, and we were right in the midst of all that. So it was a good thing.
That's a little bit some serious history there, man. That ain't a little bit actually. That's a lot of bit. That's a lot of information, man, to take in. You was on Profile, and you had this joint called The Old School, and I believe that came out in 1985, right?
Yes, sir.
My question is, yeah, on the record, it's KOOL KYLE and Billy Bill. What happened to the Star Child?
Well, I thought the name was too long at that time. Because my official name is Kool Kyle, original Starchild. The reason why I was originally DJ Kool Kyle, and I want something to rhyme with Kool Kyle. I remember Kid Creole had Kid Creole, the Solid Gold, Kid Creole, and Lovebug Starchy was DJ Lovebug Starchy. Everybody had a title. Grandmaster Flash, Grandmaster Melly Mel. I wanted a title, so I called myself the Starchild. So I was Kool Kyle the Starchild when I signed the contract. But something told me just be Kool Kyle. It's cool. Because I say Starchild enough. I mean, everybody who knew me knew who I really was. But the reason why I named myself the original Starchild, as far as MCing and hip-hop goes, I was in the fever one night, and this guy's sister comes up to me. She says, "Hi, are you Kool Kyle?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, my brother, he's a DJ from Brooklyn, and he calls himself Starchild, and he just want to let you know, is it all right? Is it cool? Is there a problem with it or anything like that?" And I had cats around me who overheard this and was like, "Yo, Kyle, man, somebody biting your name?" Because back in them days, names were serious, you know? It was your identity.
You couldn't bite no names.
I wasn't, you know, but I didn't feed into it. I was just like, okay, well, where's your brother? She pointed him. It was DJ Starchild. So I walked up to him, Mark, because his real name is Mark. What's going on? Yeah, Kyle, man, I figured like, so you're an MC and I'm a DJ, so, there should be no conflict, right? And, I liked him. He was cool, man, and I really wasn't territorial like that. I could have been or made an issue, but, I mean, come on. So we shook hands. He went ahead and called himself DJ Starchild. God bless him dead again. Had a great name, one of the early mixtape makers, and I attached original in front of my name because in hip-hop, I am the original Starchild. Anybody just calling himself Starchild, they need to know. So that's why I did it. But on that particular record, I just didn't use it.
That was up, man. And back then, a lot of people didn't have extensions on their names, Like it was always one. It wasn't like the or like the Funky Homosabian and J. Rule, the Damager, and back then it was they didn't really have too many extension names. My name is an extension, Cee-Rock the Fury, and I had that name for years.
Gotcha.
I'm talking about when I was a baby, but that was original to have a name like that back then.
No doubt, and I tried to be a little bit different because I saw where it was going. There were so many people rapping now. And mind you, again, Fury, we're talking about the 80s now. We're talking about the early 80s when rap first started popping. And I wanted to be like, at least if you heard my name, you would remember part of it. Because Kyle, in and of itself, is a weird name. In and of itself, back then, now it's a pretty popular name. But back when I was a kid, Kyle, Goma Kyle. Nobody respected the name Kyle, you feel me? And it was a funny name to people. So I attached that to Starchild to it. You just envision like a guy gleaming, like doing his thing, And that's why I did it. Plus, certain cats started having little attitudes and shit, like I told you. The Love Bug, Starsky, I love that. Kid Creole, the Solid Gold, I love that. Grandmaster Flash, the title, Grandmaster. So I figured Starchild rhymes with Kyle, run with it, and I did.
Yeah. But I think you was having problems because you was light-skinned, man.
Here you go again. My brother, let me find out you have a fixation and issues with with light skin performance.
Y'all was messing it up for us. I'm sorry, man. Y'all was messing it up for us back in the days, man.
No, Fury.
And then when Miami Vice and all that stuff, and what's his name, Michael Phillip Thomas and all that stuff, all y'all, man.
It was
what's up with that?
Hell yeah.
Come on, man. I got issues with that, man.
Hey, yo, listen, Fury.
Pretty light boys with afros and whatever, man. Messing the game up for his brothers, man. That's why I was glad when Wesley Snipes came out. When Wesley Snipes came out, man, he changed the game. I was like, yeah, Wes. Yeah.
Hey, yo, my man, to tell you the truth, I used to shed a tear for you Brown brothers. I really did. Especially when Miami Vice came out. So Philip Michael Thomas had it going on. And your brothers wasn't being seen.
I know.
That was so funny. Yeah, that's some real shit like that. That's funny, though.
Yo, flip the script on you, man. I usually ask this question to some of the cats I interview, man. And, just to get a little vibe of you coming up, man. Yo, what was your was you into cartoons back in the days, man? What was your favorite cartoons back growing up?
You know what my cartoons were, man? They weren't like the average Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck type thing. My thing was comic books, which still is. I'm a big comic book dude. Okay.
What was your favorite comic?
So back when I was a kid,
your top comics?
My favorite comic of all time is Iron Man. And this is way before these movies. This is back when He was Tony Stark, period. He had a simple red and yellow suit. And Spider-Man was right behind him, you know?
He's the coolest cat with the hardest skills.
Exactly, man. You know that. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I love, man. I love comics, man.
Like that one when he used to come on TV, you know, the Marvel one. Remember when Captain America throws his mighty shield? Yeah, you know, I used to know all the things.
The ever-loving Hulk,
man. Submariner. He's the prince of the sea. Come on, man. I used to know all of them. Doc Bruce Banner. Shut up, I gamma right. Into the home.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yo,
that used to be my cartoon back then, man.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. And when Marvel had that little cartoon show out, you can look at that now because you can actually get those. And they're so amateurish compared to what's going on now. But they at least existed. You could watch the Hulk in the cartoon, the ever-loving Hulk. Hulk. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I used to love. As far as regular, cartoons and stuff goes.
All right. Yeah, what about video games, man? You was into video games back in the days?
No, sir.
Everybody had a porn arcade out there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Pac-Man was my thing for a minute, but you know what I'm saying? That was only in between rocking the mic and getting a drink. Because sometimes you couldn't get your drink right away. And damn pinball machines. I used to love pinball a lot, too. But those machines were right there. And I taught myself how to play because I'm not really a mechanical dude like that, per se. But cats were having fun with it. I tried. I loved it. Pac-Man. This is Pac-Man. I like those. Yeah.
All right, we're talking about drinks now, right? So you're talking about drink. What was your drink of choice back in the days? Was it Ripple? Was it Muscatel? Was it Night Train?
No, it was Plum Velvet.
I was waiting. That was different on you.
I know, but I ain't gonna lie. Plum Velvet. Fill it up.
That's what's up. Was you a fan of the 40 ounce?
Yeah, of course. Oli. Everybody had a 40. Well, Oli thing for a while. Until I almost flipped my car over one night drunk on that shit. And decided, this is like nitrogen, liquid crack. Oli used to be some powerful stuff back in those days. I'm telling you.
I was saying that.
Although St. Ides took over, with that. But yeah, we should do the old English thing, man. Everybody grab a 40, come out there like 12 40s and be clicking bottles and pouring out for those who ain't here, and those that want to be here, and those that's up north, like 4 or 5 little sips pour out in the ground, half the bottle's gone, and then we would knock it out, go get some more. We did that.
That's wild. Yo, I gotta say this, man, because I think people need to hear this. All right, now everybody knows about the movie Wild Style, but it turns out that before Wild Style, there was another movie, and a certain individual that we're interviewing right now just happens to be in it. I want you to break that movie down. Tell us the name of that movie and what it was about. I think the world needs to hear about this.
Cool. Around 1980, I got a phone call from Fab Five Freddy, and he said, "Kyle, I've been looking for Spoonie G, but I can't get in contact with Spoonie. We're getting ready to do a movie about another month or so. We need a rapper to be in this movie." Now, I heard about them getting ready to make Wild Style, and I was going to go talk to Charlie Ahern because everybody in Wild Style was a friend of mine, and I actually could have been in it if I would have pressed it a little bit. But I agreed to do this movie, knowing that I'd be the only rapper in the movie, where Wild Style had, a conglomerate of rappers in it. So to make a long story short, I met Freddie one day, and we go downtown. And Downtown 81 was basically a semi-autobiographical tale of John Michael Basquiat. Basquiat was a street artist that started writing whole paragraphs of text next to his graffiti name, which was Samo. And people started noticing it down the village, and what really blew him up was Andy Warhol used to stop and read what he wrote and embraced him, took him under his wing. He became a protege of Andy Warhol. So by the time this guy did this movie, he was a legend in street art, paintings, abstract artwork, with graffiti. And he became very big very quickly. So they said, let's make an autobiography about him. And that movie is about him losing his rent money and having to sell his equipment and trying to get the equipment back to pay rent and stuff like that. It's a day in the life of Basquiat. So he's the star of the movie. So at one scene, he comes to a club. He stops and he talks to Fab Five Freddy outside this club with Lee Quinones. Lee Quinones was a very, very, very big graffiti writer back in those days. He used to write Lee, and the group was called the Fabulous Five. Freddie was associated with them. That's why they called Fab Five Freddie, because he was associated with the Fabulous Five. He actually did the soup cans on a famous subway car, the Campbell soup cans, imitating Warhol. Freddie had done that. So anyway, so Lee, Freddie are talking to John Michael Pasquale, and they're going to order the DJ and MC downstairs. If you don't find your equipment, at least go check them out. He comes down in the club, and Deborah Harry, who was also in the movie, had a record out then called Rapture. She made an instrumental version for me with just music. It was no lyrics, just music. And when he comes downstairs, my man, DJ Sinbad, my DJ from the Bronx, was cutting Rapture up, for my version, and I'm doing a rap called Kool Kyle's Theme. And he comes, he shakes my hand, he shakes Sinbad's hand, he dances a little bit, and the scene is me rapping. And I'm rapping, nonstop. I'm just like, I'm going in. And that actually was finished before Wild Style was finished, so I was guaranteed a slot in history. But what happened was the producer had reneged on some financial obligations to other people. She couldn't release the movie. It got garnished for tax purposes out of Italy or some craziness like that, and it never hit the streets, and it was never shown in theaters. Now, to top this story off, about 10 years ago, I was in Central Park, Summer Stage Day, and this little lady, French lady, comes up to me and she goes, "Are you Kool Kyle?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "I've been looking for you for years." This is before the internet. This is before you could find anybody to drop of a dime. And I said, "Well, how far did you look for me? What were you looking for me for?" She breaks it down. She owns the movie. She said, "I've always wanted to put it out. I remastered it digitally, which was excellent." She said, "But your vocals are eliminated for some reason. You're in the scene. You see the scene. There's no lead vocals." I said, "So what are you saying? My vocals were gone?" She said, "Yes, they were gone. So I was looking for you to have you record them over again." Anyway, I got another rapper to do your vocals in the movie, and the movie's going to be on DVD, and it'll be coming out in another couple of weeks. Listen, and I want you to come to the premiere. So, I'm shocked to hearing all this. First of all, nobody believes I ever made this movie except for Sinbad and Pasquale. Pasquale's dead because he died. So, except for Freddie. But nobody talks about it because nobody knows. So, I was so grateful for her to give me information. She gave me her number. She goes, "By the way, do you want to know who the rapper is who did your voice?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Melly Mel." So, true story. I go to the premiere. It's me in 1980. I got the big afro. I got the big belt on, and I'm dancing with a girl I was with at that time. I'm rocking the mic off a rap chain. It's Melly Mel's voice. I know Mel's voice. And he's matching my lips up perfectly. You can't even tell it's not me. And he did a great job. Mel did a great job. But it's in it. And the credits of the movie goes rapper and club, Kool Kyle, voice of rapper Melly Mel on the credits at the end of the movie. That was the first movie with a rap performance in it. It came out. It was done before Wild Style. It just didn't premiere before Wild Style. And it's called Downtown 81. To catch this whole thing off.
I got a message for the lady who owns the rights to that now. You need to re-release that movie again, this time with Kool Kyle's actual voice and whatnot. And so if you're getting this or if you hear this show, please make that happen. All right? And re-release that because we want to see this.
It's classic, man. I have the DVD myself. It's classic because the most poignant thing about that movie, this movie, see, at that time, downtown was starting to embrace hip-hop but on a larger scale than where it really came from. These upper-class, preppy, that wanted to hang out white kids, for lack of a better expression, really embraced hip-hop. Foreigners embraced hip-hop. You had these clubs downtown that were popping now that became meccas for hip-hop downtown, which exposed Afrika Bambaataa to the world. If it hadn't been for those clubs downtown, nobody would have known about Soul Sonic Force other than us, because when they came up with Planet Rock, they premiered it downtown at, I can't remember the name of these clubs now. Name any club. Roxy was one of them. They really took that scene and ran with it. DST. When DST went downtown to play, he became Grand Mix of DST and got with Herbie Hancock and did Rockin' It. I mean, downtown provided a lot of exposure to hip-hop on a level that we weren't even doing because they had money to do that. The Roxy became a very big mecca. Soul Sonic stayed down there. A lot of cats went down there. And they wanted to capitalize off this new phenomenon that was just overtaking downtown and the village. So that's why the movie is named Downtown 81. And what really tops it all off is this is the only movie. Now, John Michael Pasquale did a documentary. He's definitely seen in that. He had never acted in another movie. This is the only movie he's acting in. I interact with him in the movie, shake his hand and whatnot. I met him. And the guy died maybe 5 years later from a heroin overdose. His paintings are worth right now millions of dollars. He just did a thing at BAM, at the Brooklyn Museum of Art, not BAM, Brooklyn Museum of Art last year, and they had a private Sotheby's auction, and he sold the painting for 43-point-something million dollars. That went to his estate. He became a very big, very, very, very big artist. And to see him as a young kid in this movie with me, knowing what he became later on, and then to die, this is a recorded, actual example of Pasquale, how he acted, how he talked. He moves, he jumps around. It's very intimate with him in this movie. And it's a classic thing exposing who he really was. I'm proud to be in it because he's dead now, and his art will live on for the ages. He changed the downtown art scene in New York City for years to come.
That is an amazing prequel history right there, man.
Really
very, very, very informative. Moving up to now, right, to this point here.
Yes,
you've been quite busy, and there's been a lot of things going on in your life, right? Now, I know that you were a crew, or, called Men versus Many. I want you to break down Men versus Many, and to tell us what that's about.
Got you. A couple of years ago, another friend of mine who actually worked at the same job I worked at, but in a different division, he knows who I am because he knew me of who I am. But he got with me one day, we talked. And he had been doing some other stuff out in Long Island with some other guys, and, it was all good, but they never really advanced with it. And I'd always wanted to have a group. I always wanted to be the front man in a group or be in a group. I love the group camaraderie, the effect that more than one guy has on stage, moving back and forth, messing with the crowd, the excitement. I love that energy. So we decided to become a group. We knew that me being an older rapper, in fact a pioneer, already had me stigmatized as being old school, which everybody who knows me knows I'm not. If you heard any of the new music I've done over the last 5 years, you could not say, oh, this is old school. You can do it. You'd be a liar if you said it. You wouldn't even know it's me. I take pride in that. I study music. I study the rhymes, beats, patterns, what Cats is doing on the mic right now. I mean, I could do all of that. And me and him got together. He's a tinch younger than me. He had more of a young age, and we got together. And we knew it was going to be a battle for us to even make a statement. So we decided to call ourselves MVM, Men versus Many. It was going to be us against the world. We got together. We have like 40 songs done now. We've been performing for the last couple of years. We've done a lot of shows all over the place. We did B.B. King's, the same Christmas show you saw this year, a couple of days ago. We did that last year with the Fever reunion and Cold Crush, Starsky, Bismarck. Everybody was on that show. We did that. In fact, we opened up for them. We just did Pennsylvania not too long ago. We've been running around a lot. We're in the studio now getting ready to do my...
Tell us the name of your partner right there.
I'm sorry. R.B. the Brawler. R.B. the Brawler.
That's right. What's up, R.B.?
Facebook too. Yo, no doubt. Rob, what up, baby? So, we got together. We became a little force. So now, that in association with the Groundbreakers, which was really me and Rodney C. from Funky, we had an organization called Groundbreakers, but we performed too, and we had done some stuff together with the Groundbreakers, me and R.B. And we just coming out, man. So this year, 2015, with the assistance of Cee-Rock, because my man Cee-Rock is on board to produce one of those bangers, at least one. KOOL KYLE is going to do the solo joint, and I'm going to have some MVM music out. And that's going to be premiering in 2015. So next year, this time, going to 2016, you would have heard, you would have seen, and you would have said, yo, son still got it, because son still do got it. And I want to present it to the world. The world will see it.
I want to put it out there, man, that, Handzup Network is also my movement. It's also my label imprint. And I came up personally to KOOL KYLE and asked him, do you want to drop anything? I told him, man, if he ever want to drop anything, he always got a home to drop something on it. So I am hoping to get, by 2015, an exclusive KOOL KYLE banger. I don't care if it's an EP, a single, or a full-length album. Now, I'm going to ask you on the spot in front of everybody listening, everybody, all the IPOians, are you going to represent and drop something for us?
Yes, sir. Cee-Rock the Fury, I got you. 2015 is our year, son. We've been talking a long time. I've been going through little things to make things better in my life, musically and everything else. I'm prepared now. It's going to be all good, baby. They're going to see it. They're gonna be up Hands Up Network, yo, and they're gonna feel it. They're gonna feel it all, and they're gonna be like, yo, Cee-Rock, you and that Kid Kyle did it. Yo, did the bang, yo, did the real thing. When we get that phone call from Germany and the next one from Japan, just get your bags ready. Make sure your passport is right, because we're gonna be out of here, and we'll come back to New York and break out again.
Man, I'm in talks right now, man, to try to get some stuff happening, man. Who knows? Hopefully, man, it's my goal, man, to try to get us on a road to go, all us to rock together, man. Country to country, man. That's my goal, and I'm hoping that'll happen someday. So look, any of y'all promoters out there, if y'all listening to this, man, if y'all want to hear some real vintage hip-hop for some pioneers who know about the game, who's been around since the game, before the game was even a game, holla at me, holla at KOOL KYLE, and we will bring something to you. All right? We are not hard to reach. So I'll give we'll have all our information and links and everything. You can find us, you can Google us, but we are here. So if you want to hear Man vs. Many, you want to hear Cee-Rock the Fury, anybody like that in our family, man, you know who to come to. I want to put that out there. All promoters, all agencies, all across the globe, make sure you holler at us. All right? I'm going to end it on that note.
Hold on, son. I just want to give another shout-out. I got another brother who's really, prominent in what we trying to do, too. My man Tito Donez, the world-famous Devastating Tito from the Fearless 4 and Team Fearless. The Devastation's in the building.
Shout out to Team
Domination
Fearless, man. Shout out to Mikey D. Mikey D, what up,
Yes, sir. Elements of hip-hop and all that. Yo, we all together. The Team Fearless family will be the dominant force in 2015. Hands Up, yo, will be there. Yo, listen, it's going to be a big, big movement of cats who really love pure hip-hop and are really ready to explore different avenues just to put the mic in your hand and just to make them feel it. So big shout out to Tito Donez.
Right, yo.
Devastating.
Yo, before I go, I gotta say this. How can I forget this, man? Yo, on my album, right? My album was gonna drop in 2015 too. My album's called Furiosity Kills the Cat. I got a banger called Linden Bullies. And I got some special cameos on this joint that's actually in the music video, man. Man, yo, we had so much fun with this video, man. Yo, I gotta give a shout out, man, to KOOL KYLE for coming through in the music video to represent. I got to give a shout out, man, to the legendary Silver Fox. Silver Fox, baby. That was my first interview on Hands Up. And yo, T-Ski Valley, yo. That's right. Yeah, y'all know the song Catch the Beat.
No doubt.
Catch the Beat. T-Ski, baby. Yo, I got them cats, man, in the video. Linden Bullies. Y'all can check it out on YouTube. It's on Vivo also, man. And it's spelled Linden Bullies. It's the Linden, like Linden Boulevard, and the word Bullies, Boulez. I want all y'all pioneers in the game to check it out. Click like. Support it, man. Check out your boys is in there, man. Yo, man. Yo, they was chasing us, man, in the freaking park. You know what I mean? KOOL KYLE, gangster as hell, and walking in slow motion, man.
Yo, we have fun. We have mad fun, son, and that's the essence. You feel me? On your behalf, listen. On your behalf, I have to say this. Besides supporting Hands Up Network, yo, I'm feeling you. That's a movement that you've been working hard on, and you're dedicated to it, and it will definitely be an asset and a star bright performance on your part when you finally get things the way you want them to be. So there's no doubt about Hands Up Network, yo. That's going to be the movement. Your personal attitude and dedication to the game, I want to thank you personally for reaching out to me. A lot of cats reach out to me, man. A lot of them tell me things. I hear things all day long. I've been doing this since 1970, whatever it is, son. You feel me? The newness about me, it really is. I don't have time to play, really, but I will listen to ideas and certain visions of things, because we all have dreams and visions. You make your visions a reality. You get mad props in my book for that. I just want to salute you for that.
I appreciate that, man. Make no mistake, man. I always got your back, no matter what, whatever project, whatever movement you got, man. I'm a phone call away. I'm an email away. I'm on media. You know that. I am not hard to find. Just holler at your boy. I'm gonna be there to back you up, right?
No doubt, son. No doubt. No doubt.
Yo, we're going to close it up right here, but I want you to give a quick shout-out, man, if you don't mind, man, to IPO Radio, because that's the station that sponsor me right now. If you could give a personal shout-out for them, I'm pretty sure that they will appreciate that.
Yo, this is KOOL KYLE, the original Starchild, no doubt, Boogie Down Bronx style for life. And I just want to make a point, a definite hardcore to the bullet point, IPO Radio. You feel me? If you're not on that, and you listen to the rest of the nonsense, then you should be where you are, in nonsense. Because it's all about IPO Radio. Cee-Rock the Fury, you heard? Hands up, yo. This is what I'm talking about. This is what it is, and this is how it's going to be. What?
That's right, y'all. Hands Up Network Radio. And this is an exclusive interview, man, with the legendary.
Yo, Hands Up Radio. No doubt.
Radio. That's right. And this is Kool Kyle, man, the original Star Child, man. Yo, thank you very much, man. I'm looking forward to hearing your music, your new music coming out, man. And, yo, I want everybody to be ready for that, too, man. He's coming. I'm going to be hashtagging his name, so you're going to be looking out for him, man, for some new music. Men versus many. Kool Kyle, original Star Child, man. One love, maybe, longevity, and keep it moving.
Thank you so much, Cee-Rock. Same to you, boy.
All right, man, yo, I'm out of here, yo. We'll see y'all next time on the show, man, where we have a new celebrity come on here or a new pioneer up in the game. I don't even know who I'm going to get, but it's going to be somebody, and it's going to be just as enjoyable as this, all right? Peace out, y'all. One love.
One.